The Zarthon Empire, a dominant force in the galaxy known for its advanced technology and unparalleled scientific expertise, had set its sights on Earth. For centuries, they had scoured the cosmos, cataloging and studying countless worlds, but none had intrigued them as much as this blue planet, teeming with life. The Zarthon scientists, led by the renowned xenobiologist Dr. Raxel, were particularly interested in Earth's rich biodiversity and unique evolutionary pathways. As their sleek, metallic ship descended through the atmosphere, the crew gazed out at the vibrant greens and blues of the planet below. The sprawling rainforests, vast oceans, and intricate ecosystems seemed to pulse with energy, beckoning them to explore. Dr. Raxel felt a thrill of excitement. This was her chance to uncover the secrets of life on Earth, a species that had been largely overlooked by the interstellar community. Upon landing in a remote area of the Amazon rainforest, the Zarthon team disembarked, equipped with advanced scanning devices and drones to document their findings. The air was thick with humidity and the sounds of wildlife. Exotic birds calling, insects buzzing, and the rustle of leaves as creatures moved through the underbrush. The aliens, clad in sleek, form-fitting suits that adapted to their environment, began their exploration. Their initial observations were stunning. Dr. Raxel's team encountered a colorful array of creatures, from the iridescent wings of morpho-butterflies to the stealthy movements of jaguars. Each animal exhibited behaviors that seemed almost otherworldly. The intricate dance of fireflies at dusk, the way ants worked in unison to carry food back to their colony, and the elaborate mating rituals of the birds of paradise. As they collected data, the Zarthons began to draw parallels between Earth's wildlife and their own technological advancements. They marveled at the way some species employed natural defenses, like the poison of dart frogs or the camouflage of chameleons, that could rival any weapon they had developed. With every discovery, the aliens documented their findings in meticulous detail, categorizing the wildlife not just as life forms, but as living weapons that could potentially be harnessed for their own military purposes. Dr. Raxel, fascinated but troubled, felt a conflict brewing within her. While the Zarthons viewed these creatures as mere resources, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were so much more. As she gazed into the eyes of a curious capybara, she sensed an intelligence and spirit that transcended her initial scientific curiosity. The Zarthons prepared to transmit their preliminary reports back to the Empire, unaware that their assessment would spark a chain reaction of events that would forever change the fate of both Earth and the Zarthon Empire. As the data streamed into space, Dr. Raxel looked out over the vast rainforest, the canopy alive with movement and color, and wondered if the creatures of Earth would ever reveal their true nature to her kind. As news of the Zarthon zoologists' arrival and their preliminary findings spread across Earth, the world erupted in a wave of curiosity and trepidation. Government officials, scientists, and ordinary citizens alike were captivated by the prospect of intelligent extraterrestrial life. However, the ominous label of living weapons cast a shadow over the excitement, sparking debates about the implications for humanity and its planet. In a high-stakes meeting convened by the United Nations in New York City, a diverse group of leaders gathered. Emma Rodriguez, a passionate biologist and environmental activist, stood at the forefront. With her long dark hair pulled back and a determined look in her eyes, she was ready to advocate for Earth's wildlife. Beside her sat General Thomas Lee, a seasoned military strategist with years of experience in global defense operations. Jack Mason, the charismatic diplomat known for his negotiation skills, rounded out the trio, representing a voice of reason amid the growing anxiety. The conference room buzzed with tension as officials debated how to approach the Zarthons. Some advocated for immediate military readiness, suggesting a show of force to deter any potential exploitation of Earth's resources. Others, like Emma, argued passionately for dialogue and collaboration. If they see our wildlife as weapons, we need to show them their true value. These animals are part of our ecosystem, vital to our survival, she exclaimed, her voice rising above the chatter. General Lee leaned forward, furrowing his brow. I understand your point, Emma, but we must consider the potential threat. We can't afford to be naive. If the Zarthons perceive us as weak, they may act on their findings. His military instincts clashed with Emma's idealism, creating a palpable tension in the room. Jack intervened, skillfully navigating the discussion. What if we extend an olive branch? We can propose a summit with the Zarthon team. Let's invite them to share their knowledge while also showcasing the importance of biodiversity and conservation. His proposal garnered mixed reactions, but it struck a chord with Emma. Days later, the United Nations sent a formal invitation to Dr. Raxel and her team, proposing a summit to be held in a neutral location. The urgency of the situation brought a sense of unity among the member nations, all eager to protect their planet while embracing the opportunity for interstellar dialogue. As preparations for the summit unfolded, Emma felt a flicker of hope. She assembled a team of scientists, conservationists, and representatives from various wildlife organizations, determined to present a unified front. They compiled data on the ecological significance of Earth's creatures, highlighting successful conservation efforts and the need for sustainable coexistence. Meanwhile, Dr. Raxel and her team aboard their ship reviewed the incoming invitation with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Raxel couldn't shake the feeling that Earth held more than just potential weapons. Perhaps, if they were willing to listen, humanity could reveal profound truths about life and survival. The stage was set for an unprecedented encounter. As both sides prepared, the world held its breath, poised on the brink of an extraordinary new chapter in the history of humanity and the cosmos. Would they find common ground, or would the weight of their differences drive them apart? The day of the summit arrived, and an atmosphere of palpable tension enveloped the Grand Canyon, chosen as a neutral ground for this historic meeting. The breathtaking vistas, with their layers of rock painted in vibrant hues, stood in stark contrast to the uncertain future looming over both Earth and the Zarthon Empire. The high-tech conference tent had been set up at the canyon's edge, equipped with translation devices and holographic displays, ensuring that both parties could communicate seamlessly. As the Zarthon delegation arrived, Emma Rodriguez, General Thomas Lee, and Jack Mason waited nervously. Dr. Raxel led the Zarthon team, her stature commanding yet her demeanor curious. The Zarthons, with their elongated features and shimmering skin, appeared both otherworldly and strangely familiar. Emma's heart raced as she prepared to address the alien scientists, her mind swirling with thoughts about how to convey the essence of Earth's wildlife. The meeting began with formal introductions. Jack, ever the diplomat, welcomed Dr. Raxel and her team, expressing hope for mutual understanding. We believe this summit is an opportunity to learn from each other and explore the potential for cooperation, he said, his voice steady. Dr. Raxel nodded, her large, expressive eyes scanning the humans. We are eager to learn about your species and its unique adaptations. Our initial findings suggest that your wildlife possesses extraordinary capabilities. Her tone was clinical, but tinged with genuine curiosity. Emma seized the moment, stepping forward with a visual presentation. Holograms flickered to life, showcasing Earth's stunning biodiversity. This is a golden eagle, she began, her voice firm yet passionate. It uses its keen eyesight and incredible speed to hunt. It symbolizes the freedom and beauty of our planet, not just its predatory nature. The image transformed to depict the eagle soaring gracefully through the skies. As the presentation continued, Emma highlighted various animals, the intelligence of dolphins in coordinated hunts, the complex social structures of elephants, and the cooperative behaviors of bees. Each example emphasized that Earth's wildlife was not merely a series of threats, but rather an intricate web of life, deserving respect and protection. Throughout the presentation, Dr. Raxel remained engaged, her initial skepticism slowly melting away. She asked questions, delving deeper into the significance of each creature. General Lee observed the exchange closely, noting the growing rapport between Emma and the Zarthon leader. Perhaps, he thought, there was hope for collaboration after all. However, not all Zarthons shared Dr. Raxel's open-mindedness. A few of her colleagues whispered among themselves, casting wary glances at the humans. "They are trying to manipulate our perspective," one muttered, skepticism dripping from his tone. Emma caught the words but remained undeterred, focusing on the potential for a shared future. As the summit progressed, both sides exchanged ideas, exploring possibilities for cooperation in research, conservation, and interstellar ecological understanding. Emma's heart swelled with hope as she noticed Dr. Raxel's growing enthusiasm. Maybe they could indeed bridge the gap between their worlds. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the canyon, the summit concluded with a tentative agreement to collaborate on joint research projects. Both parties were left with a sense of cautious optimism, unaware that dark forces were already conspiring to disrupt their fragile alliance. In the weeks following the summit, the initial excitement of cooperation between humans and Zarthons began to take shape. Emma Rodriguez, Dr. Raxel, and their respective teams embarked on a series of joint field studies, setting out to explore Earth's diverse habitats. Their mission was not just to study wildlife, but to foster a deeper understanding of each species' role within the ecosystem and what that might teach both parties about resilience and survival. Their first expedition took them to the expansive savanna of East Africa. The golden grasses stretched out like an ocean under the sun, dotted with acacia trees. Emma felt a rush of exhilaration as she spotted a herd of elephants in the distance, their massive bodies moving gracefully across the landscape. As they set up camp nearby, she explained the significance of elephants to her team and the Zarthons. These magnificent creatures are not just strong, they are also highly intelligent and have complex social structures. They nurture their young and mourn their dead. Their role in the ecosystem is critical as they help maintain the health of the savanna. Dr. Raxel listened intently, her scientific mind racing with possibilities. The Zarthons had not encountered such intricate social behaviors in their own species. Emma's insights sparked a discussion about the applications of these behaviors, from resource management to conflict resolution. As night fell, the group gathered around a campfire, sharing stories of their cultures. Emma spoke of her childhood experiences in nature, how her grandfather had taught her to respect all living things. In turn, Dr. Raxel shared tales from her home planet, where species coexisted in a delicate balance. As they exchanged stories, the barriers between them began to dissolve, replaced by a burgeoning camaraderie. On their second expedition, they traveled to the dense Amazon rainforest. Here, the air was thick with humidity, and the sounds of wildlife surrounded them. They set up observation points to study the vibrant life that thrived within the jungle. One day, while observing a group of capuchin monkeys, Emma explained their foraging behavior and how they used tools, a testament to their intelligence and adaptability. Suddenly, a loud commotion erupted nearby. A jaguar had cornered a young monkey, and the chaos drew the group's attention. Emma watched in awe as the mother monkey rallied the others, creating a diversion to distract the predator. Dr. Raxel documented the scene with her devices, fascinated by the intricate strategies at play. "This is extraordinary," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. Their ability to work together for survival mirrors concepts we have in our own society. The realization struck them both. Intelligence was not limited to technological prowess. It was woven into the very fabric of life on Earth. As they continued their research, Emma and Dr. Raxel's partnership deepened. They found themselves discussing not just ecological dynamics, but also philosophical questions about existence, responsibility, and the ethical implications of their research. Each day brought new revelations and shared laughter, forging a bond that neither had anticipated. Yet, beneath this blossoming alliance, tensions within the Zarthon Empire grew. A faction that opposed any cooperation with humans whispered among themselves, fearful of the implications of their findings. Unbeknownst to Emma and Dr. Raxel, shadows were gathering on the horizon, threatening to undermine the fragile trust they had built. But for now, in the heart of Earth's wildest places, they were united in purpose, eager to learn from each other and the natural world around them. As the weeks of collaboration passed, the alliance between Emma Rodriguez and Dr. Raxel flourished. Their research expeditions yielded groundbreaking insights into the intricate relationships between species on Earth. However, not all was well within the Zarthon Empire. A radical faction, known as the Purists, emerged, vehemently opposed to any form of cooperation with humanity. They viewed Earth as a treasure trove of resources to be exploited, and the alliance represented a dangerous shift away from their imperialist values. The Purists believed that Earth's wildlife, which they had deemed living weapons, could be harnessed for their military advantages. Discontent brewed among their ranks, and whispers of rebellion against the Zarthon Council spread like wildfire. The faction's leader, a cunning and ambitious figure named Kalen, began plotting a scheme to seize control of the Zarthon Empire, aiming to initiate a covert operation to capture Earth's wildlife and weaponize them before the alliance could solidify. Meanwhile, Emma and Dr. Raxel continued their research with renewed vigor. One evening, while analyzing data collected from their recent field studies, Emma's communicator buzzed with a notification. It was a message from Jack Mason, warning of increased surveillance around their field sites. "There's been talk of rogue Zarthans operating independently," he wrote. "We need to be cautious. I suggest we remain alert during our next expedition." Concerned, Emma shared the information with Dr. Raxel during their next meeting in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. "We can't ignore the signs," Emma urged, her brow furrowed. "If factions within your empire are planning something, we need to be prepared." Dr. Raxel nodded, her expression serious. "I understand your concern, Emma. We must continue our work, but I'll increase security measures. My colleagues are committed to this alliance, but I will ensure that we are vigilant against any threats." As they resumed their studies, the atmosphere grew tense. They ventured deeper into the jungle, carefully observing the behaviors of animals, but their focus was split. Emma noticed Dr. Raxel frequently scanning the treetops and underbrush, her advanced senses attuned to any disturbances. They both felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on them. Then, one fateful afternoon, as they were setting up their equipment to study a troop of howler monkeys, they heard a sudden rustle in the bushes. Moments later, a group of Zarthon soldiers emerged from the foliage, their faces stern and determined. Kalen had sent them to capture Emma, Dr. Raxel, and their research. "By order of the Purists, you are to come with us," one of the soldiers declared, brandishing a high-tech energy weapon. Emma's heart raced as she realized the gravity of the situation. Dr. Raxel stepped forward, her voice steady. "You will not take them. This alliance is essential for both our worlds." In that moment of confrontation, the alliance was tested. Emma felt a surge of adrenaline as she glanced at Dr. Raxel, both of them understanding that they had to fight for not only their lives, but also the future of their collaboration. The Zarthon soldiers, caught between loyalty to the Purists and their commitment to the alliance, hesitated. Dr. Raxel seized the opportunity. "This is not what our people stand for. We are here to learn, to grow together. We cannot allow extremists to dictate our fate." Her words echoed through the jungle, stirring a flicker of doubt among the soldiers. In a tense standoff, the fate of their fragile alliance hung in the balance. Emma held her breath, knowing that their next move could either solidify their partnership or shatter it forever. The air was thick with tension as Dr. Raxel's impassioned plea hung in the humid jungle atmosphere. Emma watched the Zarthon soldiers exchange uncertain glances, their rigid postures wavering for the first time. The standoff felt surreal, as though they were suspended in time, each moment stretching out under the weight of their shared predicament. "Stand down," barked the soldier leading the group, his weapon still trained on Dr. Raxel and Emma. "You have no authority here, Raxel. The Purists will not allow traitors to undermine the Empire." Emma could see fear and confusion in the eyes of the other Zarthons. She knew they were not merely soldiers. They were individuals caught in a political struggle they might not fully understand. "We're not traitors," she said, her voice rising with urgency. "We're trying to find a way for both our worlds to benefit. The future of Earth, and possibly the Zarthon Empire, depends on cooperation, not conflict." Dr. Raxel took a step forward, her posture embodying both strength and vulnerability. "You are not just soldiers, you are part of something greater. This alliance can change the course of our histories. If we fail here, we risk unleashing forces we cannot control. Do you truly wish to be agents of destruction?" For a moment, silence enveloped the group. The jungle was alive with sounds, but within their circle, the weight of the decision pressed heavily. The soldiers' weapons remained raised, but their resolve was crumbling. It was then that a voice broke the tension. One of the younger Zarthans, barely more than a rookie in the field, stepped forward. "I've seen what they're doing here," he said, looking at his comrades with a mixture of fear and determination. "We can't let Callan use our knowledge for war. We joined this expedition to learn, not to conquer." Emboldened by the young soldiers' courage, several others began to lower their weapons, the camaraderie of their shared purpose rising to the forefront. Dr. Raxel seized the moment. "Join us. Together, we can defy the purists and protect what we've begun here. We need to alert our supporters in the Empire and prevent any hostile actions." A ripple of agreement spread through the group. One by one, the Zarthon soldiers began to lower their weapons, turning away from aggression and toward an alliance of their own. Emma felt a swell of relief, but the danger was far from over. They needed to act quickly before Callan discovered their defiance. "Let's move," Dr. Raxel urged, her voice steady. "We have to find a secure place to regroup and inform our supporters. We can't let Callan dismantle everything we've worked for." As they navigated through the dense undergrowth, the newfound alliance forged in that tense moment strengthened. Emma exchanged glances with Dr. Raxel, their mutual respect and determination solidifying. Together, they devised a plan to reach out to the Zarthon Council, knowing that they needed allies on both sides to quell the purists' influence. The group finally reached a secluded clearing, where they set up a temporary base. As they prepared to transmit a message to the Council, Emma took a moment to reflect on how far they had come. They were no longer just a human and a Zarthon. They were champions of a new path, standing against the tide of fear and hostility. Meanwhile, Callan was growing restless. Having learned of the soldiers' failure to apprehend Emma and Dr. Raxel, he intensified his efforts, rallying his followers to eliminate the perceived threat. The stakes were rising, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emma and Dr. Raxel prepared for a battle that would determine the fate of their alliance and the future of both their worlds. As the night descended over the Amazon rainforest, the air crackled with tension. In their makeshift base, Emma, Dr. Raxel, and the Zarthon soldiers huddled around a holographic projector, finalizing their message to the Zarthon Council. They needed to make their case for unity and protection against Callan's radical faction. Emma's heart raced as they prepared to broadcast their plea, knowing that the fate of their alliance rested on the fragile thread of understanding they had woven together. "Are we ready?" Emma asked, glancing at Dr. Raxel, who was busy adjusting the settings on the transmitter. "Almost," Dr. Raxel replied, her brow furrowed in concentration. "This message must be clear. We need the Council to see that Callan's actions threaten not just our alliance, but the stability of the entire Empire." With the final adjustments complete, Dr. Raxel activated the hologram. The message flickered to life, revealing Emma's determined face alongside Dr. Raxel's. "To the esteemed members of the Zarthon Council," Emma began, her voice steady, "we stand at a crossroads. Our two peoples have the potential for a profound partnership, one that can yield knowledge and insights beyond what either of us has achieved alone. But this potential is threatened by the actions of a faction within your ranks." Dr. Raxel continued, her voice echoing through the clearing. "The purists' agenda endangers not just the alliance we are building, but the future of the Zarthon Empire itself. If we cannot learn to coexist, we risk losing the chance to explore the wonders of this world and potentially face the consequences of war. As the message transmitted, they held their breath, hoping the council would heed their call. However, they knew that even if the council received their plea, Callan would not remain idle. He was already mobilizing his supporters, planning a raid on their camp to eliminate Emma and Dr. Raxel once and for all. Just as the message concluded, a rustling sound emerged from the shadows. The young soldier who had defied the purists raised a hand, signaling for silence. "I think they're coming," he whispered, his eyes wide with alarm. Emma felt a rush of adrenaline as she turned toward the dense underbrush, her heart pounding in her chest. "Get ready. We need to defend ourselves." The group quickly positioned themselves, creating a defensive perimeter. Dr. Raxel and the soldiers retrieved their weapons, preparing for the confrontation that loomed ahead. Emma felt the weight of responsibility settle upon her. This was not just about survival, but about the future of their fragile alliance. Moments later, figures began to emerge from the foliage, shadows moving stealthily but with purpose. Callan's soldiers had arrived, their expressions cold and determined. "Surrender, and your lives will be spared," one of Callan's lieutenants shouted, brandishing a weapon. Dr. Raxel stepped forward, her stance fierce. "We will not back down. We stand united for the future of both our peoples." With that, the confrontation erupted into chaos. Emma found herself in the midst of the fray, ducking behind trees and dodging energy blasts. The Zarthan soldiers fought valiantly, rallying around Dr. Raxel's leadership, their resolve bolstered by the sense of purpose that had united them. In the thick of the battle, Emma noticed Callan at the forefront, his eyes filled with fervor. "You cannot protect them, Raxel," he yelled. "They will lead us to ruin." Determined to confront Callan, Emma spotted an opportunity and sprinted toward him, dodging debris and chaos. She needed to reach him before he could execute his plans. With each step, she felt the weight of everything they had worked for: the alliance, the shared dreams of cooperation, and the hope of a better future. "Stop this," Emma shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Callan, we can work together. Don't let hatred guide your actions." For a brief moment, Callan hesitated, uncertainty flickering across his face. But before she could seize the opportunity, a blast of energy surged past Emma, narrowly missing her. The battle raged on, and the fate of their alliance hung precariously in the balance. The chaos of the battle surged around Emma as she locked eyes with Callan, her heart pounding with urgency. "You don't have to do this," she shouted, trying to reach the part of him that had once been committed to knowledge and exploration. "We can find a way forward that honors both our worlds. Don't let this fight consume you." Callan's expression wavered momentarily, a flicker of doubt passing over his features. But then his resolve hardened. "You are naive, human. Your kind is dangerous. I will not let the Zarthan Empire fall to your influence." Before Emma could respond, a blast of energy erupted from Callan's weapon, striking a nearby tree. The explosion sent splinters flying, and the battle resumed with renewed intensity. Dr. Raxel rallied her soldiers, calling for tactical formations to counter the onslaught. "Protect Emma," she ordered, her voice rising above the noise. Zarthan soldiers closed ranks around Emma, using their own advanced weaponry to return fire against Callan's faction. Emma felt a surge of gratitude as they defended her, a testament to the bond they had formed in the face of adversity. Amidst the chaos, Emma spotted a cluster of wildlife emerging from the jungle, a family of capuchin monkeys watching the skirmish with wide eyes. It struck her then that the very creatures they had studied were now witnesses to the struggle between cooperation and division. This realization ignited a new determination within her. "Dr. Raxel," she called out, trying to make herself heard over the din. "We need to show them what we've learned about coexistence. If we can demonstrate that our partnership benefits both sides, maybe we can turn this fight into a conversation." Dr. Raxel nodded, her gaze sharp and focused. "Let's create a diversion. If we can show Callan that cooperation is possible, We might just reach him." With a plan forming in her mind, Emma signaled to the nearby Zarthon soldiers, instructing them to create a barrier with their technology, while she and Dr. Raxel prepared to present a united front. The soldiers understood immediately, working swiftly to erect a shield that would buy them time. As they set their plan into motion, Emma approached Kalen, her voice steady. "You think this fight will protect your people, but it will only lead to more violence. We have the opportunity to teach each other, to learn and grow. Please, see beyond your anger." Kalen hesitated again, uncertainty clouding his features. He glanced at the battlefield, seeing his own soldiers struggling and losing faith. The tide was turning, and he felt the weight of his decisions pressing down on him. In a bold move, Dr. Raxel stepped forward, her voice unwavering. "Kalen, look around you. We are all here to protect our worlds, to seek understanding. This is not the way. We can harness our strengths together, not in conflict, but in collaboration." With Kalen's soldiers pausing in confusion, the atmosphere shifted. Emma could see the first signs of doubt in Kalen's eyes. He looked at Dr. Raxel, then back at Emma, weighing the potential for a different future. Finally, he lowered his weapon, the fight draining from him as he took a deep breath. "Perhaps I have let fear guide me too long." His voice was quiet but resolute, his posture shifting from aggression to contemplation. The tension in the air began to dissipate. One by one, Kalen's followers followed suit, lowering their weapons as they recognized the wisdom in the words of Emma and Dr. Raxel. The echoes of gunfire faded, replaced by a tentative silence as the two sides stared at one another, the potential for peace palpable in the air. In that moment, Emma felt a wave of hope wash over her. The battle was not merely about victory or defeat. It was about forging a path forward, a bridge between their worlds. The Alliance had survived its first true test, and as dawn broke over the horizon, it symbolized the start of a new era. Together, they would face the challenges ahead, united in their commitment to understanding and cooperation. The struggles they had faced had brought them to this pivotal moment, and now, with open hearts, they could work toward a future that honored both humanity and the Zarthon Empire. As the sun rose, so too did the promise of unity, a beacon of hope lighting the way for generations to come.